unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Brian Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
or the free iHeartRadio app.
This Week in Gaming with Naomi Kyle.
Hello everyone, welcome back to This Week in Gaming. I'm Naomi Kyle. This week we're catching up on PlayStation 6 rumors, Nintendo's game keycards, and the launch of Hollow Knight Silksong. We've got all this week's gaming news, so let's hop right in. Unsurprisingly, Hollow Knight Silksong has launched to massive success, breaking records and servers overnight. At the launch, a large spike in reports on downdetector.com revealed that players across Steam, Nintendo, and PlayStation experienced issues and received error messages likely due to the sudden influx of players downloading Silksong simultaneously. On Steam, Silksong completely shattered Hollow Knight's concurrent player record of 178,000 after hitting a peak of 587,000 concurrent players at the time of this recording. According to estimates from playtracker.com, approximately 2.6 million people have purchased Silksong across all platforms. At $26 Canadian a pop, Silksong has earned $67 million Canadian in just a few days. Silksong isn't done amassing accolades and is most certainly in the running for this year's Game of the Year award. And the competition is fierce. Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Blue Prince, and Split Fiction. All of these games are the best in their class and a testament to video games as an art form. No matter who wins, 2025 is shaping up to be another banger year to be a gamer. However hard to believe, we are closing in on 5 years since the launch of current-gen consoles, the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, meaning we are probably just a year or two away from entering a new generation of video game consoles. One of the next-gen systems on the minds of Sony fans is the PlayStation 6, which is rumored to be in development at this very moment. According to YouTuber and confirmed leaker, Moore's Law is dead. The PS6, like its predecessor, will launch with two models. One, a traditional home console, and the other, a hybrid console like the Nintendo Switch, capable of being played portably or at home via a docking system. The YouTuber claims to have seen multiple documents confirming a portable PS6, alleging that it will be more powerful than a PS5 when docked. Moore's Law is dead theorizes that Sony's next handheld will be released in late 2027 and will cost around $700 Canadian. Nintendo has been taking some serious heat since the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 for introducing game keycards, a physical game cartridge that contains no game data and acts instead as a license to download and play games digitally. Despite being so widely disliked, audio architect at Ubisoft, Rob Banton, is willing to stick their neck out for game keycards. Rob worked on Star Wars Outlaws, which was recently ported to the Switch 2, and they claim that reading games directly from the Switch 2 cartridge causes a bottleneck in performance. Rob had this to say: Snowdrop, Star Wars Outlaws game engine, relies heavily on disc streaming for its open-world environments, and we found the Switch 2 cards simply didn't give the performance we needed at the quality target we were going for. I think if we designed a game for Switch 2 from the ground up, it might have been different. As it was, we built a game around the SSDs of the initial target platforms, the PS5 and Xbox Series, and then the Switch 2 came along a while later. In this case, I think our leadership made the right call. If using a game keycard was the right call in the case of porting Star Wars Outlaws, what does this mean for other modern titles? Can we expect all future Switch 2 ports to be relegated to the controversial game keycard, or will Nintendo be forced to develop a Switch 2 cartridge capable of facilitating modern games? We'll have more on this discussion with our guest this week, Destin Legarie.
Quest complete.
And speaking of, it's now time to chat with our guest this week, Destin Legarie. He joins us to chat about the success of indie title Silksong, the PS6 rumors, and game keycards and why they're so controversial.
Select game mode. Multiplayer.
Hey, Destin, welcome back to This Week in Gaming. It's so good to have you.
Thanks for having me, Naomi. It's good to see you again.
Same here. I'm so excited because there's some good news to talk about and some cool rumors. But first, we'll get to the big one, which is that Silksong's been the talk of the town lately. Everybody loves this game. We all knew this would happen. But I wanted to know what you think of the success of the game. Now, I haven't played, and I think you said you hadn't played either, which is totally fine. We can still talk about just how great and of a success is for the game.
Yeah, I'm really, really happy for the team. Team Cherry started out on this website, Newgrounds. I believe it was Newgrounds. And I used to go to that website all the day, back in the day, and play all the really cool Flash games that were on there. There were all these independent developers making games on Newgrounds. And then Team Cherry would go to game jams, and eventually they landed on this Silksong character. And we all know the rest is sort of history. They've done very well for themselves. Let's just say that. Yeah, they've done so well. Their success has been, there's huge numbers. They've made a lot of money. 67 million Canadian is what I reported today. And this is like an indie dev studio. So it's kind of it's just a nice thing to see that that's still something that's happening. And also it's brought up this discussion because everyone's talking about how this game is $20. And that's an amazing deal. And there's a lot of game in this game for just $20. Do you think that indie games should start charging more, though? Is $20 too cheap for a game like this? I think as an independent developer, you charge whatever you think the price is right. I don't think you need to look at Hollow Knight Silksong and say, oh, now I have to make my game $20. If you've already priced your game at $20, great, then you're at a really good price point. We've seen successes with these smaller games like Schedule 1 came out earlier this year, not family friendly, but another independent game that ended up topping the charts. And we're finding that these smaller teams, and Team Cherry, I'm sure, had support from freelancers and contractors, are seeing massive success. And I have to wonder if that's because when you have a smaller team, you have a clear focus about the product that you're trying to create and the goals that you're trying to hit. And it has been really heartening to see all of the success stories in 2025 that we've seen. Yeah. Do you think that this will kind of get AAA titles or studios, I should say, to rethink their strategies about how they make games, and maybe how they price them too going forward? Well, I think that we've already seen AAA studios making some adjustments. The Outer Worlds 2 was originally priced at $80. They ended up reducing their price down to $70, probably because, and I'm just guessing here, soft pre-order numbers. And I got to play Outer Worlds 2 at Gamescom. I hope that game does well. It's very, very fun and enjoyable. But something needs to give. I think that studios have a lot of employees. They have, especially in the Western markets, and you're looking at budgets of, we know the numbers for Spider-Man 2 was $300 million, and I love Insomniac, but that's sort of crazy. Another game that I really, really enjoyed was Path of Exile 2. I'm actually playing the new season right now, as much as I can as a dad with 2 kiddos. Loving it. That game was created for under $100 million. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 earlier this year, the budget estimates online were $41 million. And the leadership over there told me that, that estimate is somewhat based in reality. So it's really interesting to see just the difference in what we're seeing in terms of figures on the Western market and on the other side of the world, what they're charging over there. And the disparity is definitely something I think people are starting to pay attention to. Good. Yeah, I'm glad we're having this kind of conversation and spearheaded just a different discussion about what games should be priced at and what's the value of a AAA versus an indie game. All right, thanks, Destin. We're going to take a quick break, go to Games Out This Week, and we'll be right back.
The biggest songs in the world. You've heard them countless times. Now, learn the details of how they came to be. Join Ruby Carr for Encore, the stories behind the songs you love. New interviews and newly unearthed archive footage make for a fascinating weekly deep dive. Stream Encore, the stories behind the songs you love on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Games Out This Week.
Starting on September 8th, Baby Steps waddles onto the PS5 and PC. On September 9th, Phaland enchants exclusively on the PC. Firefighting simulator Ignite roars onto PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. Bubsy, the perfect collection, soars onto PS5, PC, Switch, and Xbox Series X and S. Then on September 10th, Mindset Go connects the dots on mobile devices. Garfield Kart 2, All You Can Drift, makes a pit stop on the PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. And on September 12th, NHL 26 tackles PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. Gloomy Eyes teams up on the PS5, PC, Switch, and Xbox Series X and S. And Borderlands 4 reloads onto the PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X and S. The Epic Games Store is offering 3 free games this week. The Battle of Polytopia, Ghost Runner 2, and Monument Valley 2 will be available for download from September 11th until the 18th.
Quest accepted.
And we're back. All right. Silksong's amazing. I haven't had a chance to play it. I'm really sad about that, but I will. I will play this game. I've just been super busy. But let's talk something a little bit more broad, I guess. The PlayStation 6. There's rumors. There's rumors happening. So it's starting. We're starting to get into the next gen, right? The talk of the next gen. What did you think about these PS6 rumors, first and foremost, when you first read them? Do you think that are they real?
Well, the leaker has a pretty good track record. He leaked the PlayStation 5 Pro, and those statistics were pretty dead on. The one data point that I disagree with is the price of the handheld PS6, because there are 2 SKUs that are going to be coming out. There is a PlayStation 6 console, rumored to be console. That's normal. That's what everybody expects. And then there is a handheld version I believe it's called Project Canis. And that is very, very interesting because it's talking about being able to run PS5 quality games in handheld mode. Now, the PlayStation Portal came out initially to, a bit of fanfare, but a lot of people didn't like that it was tethered to the console and they didn't like some of the functionality. PlayStation has gone out of their way to continually improve what the PlayStation Portal is. And I think they've done a really good job of getting that to a compelling place, even to somebody like me who I have the handhelds, but I'm not one of the main handheld purchasers. But even me looking at that price point, seeing how reasonable it is, I'm like, maybe when the kids are asleep, it would be easy to grab that Portal and play. And I think PlayStation's paying attention to what Xbox is doing too, and then how the Nintendo Switch is doing in terms of sales and how the Steam Deck is doing, because this is a way a lot of people are choosing to play their games. And I hope they release one. I like a lot of people being on the market, bringing new things and compelling hardware.
See, this is why I like having you on the show, because the history of these consoles, the minutia of what's going on behind the scenes. And I wanted to also touch on your point, which was, Nintendo, Xbox, they're kind of doing something similar, and PlayStation is obviously going to do the same to try to compete. Let's just talk to the audience who maybe doesn't know what's going on here. So, what is Xbox doing that maybe has prompted PlayStation to do this? And do we think that this is the right direction for next gen? Does it have to go this way, or are they just failing to innovate?
Yeah, so this October, Xbox is partnering with ROG to create the ROG Xbox Ally X and the ROG Xbox Ally. We don't know what the price of these partnership handhelds are going to be just yet, but they're going to be quite high is what the estimate is.
That's right.
Now, in addition to that, the rumor is that Xbox is also making a proprietary handheld. Now, what Xbox is doing that's really interesting, though, is they are allowing other storefronts on the ROG Xbox Ally X, obviously, because it's a partnership, and the ROG Xbox Ally. And what that means is that you're going to be able to play your whole Steam library on this Xbox-branded device, which will include PlayStation games. Now, the whole market has been really interesting lately. We have Gears of War Reloaded doing really well on the PlayStation 5. Gears of War, if you're not aware and you're listening to the show, it's an Xbox exclusive, and it was for years. And now a lot of Xbox exclusive games, previously exclusive, are now launching on the PlayStation 5, and they are top of the charts. Like Forza Horizon 5 has been selling tremendously well on PlayStation 5, literally sitting at the top of the charts for months.
Crazy.
And recently, we got the PlayStation-owned property, Helldivers 2, which sold more in the first several days than it did on PlayStation, likely because, I think part of that's because people know what Helldivers 2 is now.
Right.
And when it launched on PlayStation, it was kind of like still getting caught up in the zeitgeist. But it's a tremendous success for Xbox. It's a tremendous success for PlayStation. And I truly believe we're watching the console walled gardens bring down their walls and allow more people to play their games. It actually goes back to what we discussed earlier in those budgets and how expensive things are, at least in the Western market, to create. And I think these companies that used to say, well, we need our walled garden. Oh, wait, there's $100 million in sales just sitting there over on Xbox.
Right.
Well, maybe we take it down a little bit and let them play after a few months.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, the price is interesting. I am somebody who I think would lean more towards the Xbox ROG version of the handheld. So I wonder what PlayStation 6's version of that, if that will be able to compete with how much you can play on Xbox's handheld. But the price is the determining factor, right?
I'm guessing it's going to be prohibitively expensive to play the ROG Xbox Ally X. The estimates put it around, I think, $500 to $800 versus whichever SKU you get, and it could be even higher. We don't know. Everybody's just speculating, and Xbox is holding their cards in that regard for reasons. I don't know why.
I don't know why. I do know why. I think they're just waiting for them. Yeah, it's probably expensive and they want to make sure that they're the ones to announce it and that hopefully we're good. And maybe they're waiting to see what PlayStation is doing.
Yeah, maybe, but we're like a month out from the ROG
coming
launch.
Soon. Yeah. So what do you think the PS6 handheld will be? What's your guesstimate?
Price-wise? Well, the estimate was like $300. I just think that's
so
completely it's completely unrealistic.
Right.
I mean, if it's a PlayStation Portal-like device, sure, but that's not running games natively on the hardware. It's using the cloud-based infrastructure, which has become really powerful. NVIDIA just had a really great presentation about their tech. I got to see it BCD at Gamescom also, and it's just like you're playing on a computer these days.
Yeah.
So if you have a somewhat reliable connection, that works. But the rumor is that this is going to be running games natively on the handheld. And I just don't think PlayStation would launch a handheld at such a low price point.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Speaking of, I guess, handheld sort of, the game key cards.
Oh, yes.
This whole thing, it's very interesting. I mean, it does talk about, they're trying to say that game key cards are a thing that's needed to improve performance of like those bigger titles like Star Wars Outlaws on the Switch. What are your thoughts on the game key cards? Do you think that this is a good thing that we're starting to use this tech? Is it something that's really needed?
I think it's a continuation of Nintendo's... I don't know how to put this. Nintendo has a history of coming up with things that are unnecessarily convoluted.
Yeah.
Like when they got into the online space, you had to do the friend code thing.
Right.
And I think it's gotten a little bit easier in 2025. But Nintendo is just sort of strange when it comes to how they implement ideas. Everybody else, they send you the disc and then you download the patch.
Yeah.
Nintendo has you buy a key card, which has a key on it, and then you redeem the key. It's just sort of weird. And I think you still need to input the cartridge, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
To be able to utilize the game key card, even though it's completely digital at that point. So yeah, it's just a little bit strange and weird. They have not been received well, but if it's helping them and other publishers sell more games, I guess, if that's Nintendo's solution, I think just, I'm no engineer, but I think they can come up with something a little bit less convoluted. Yeah.
I'm totally in your boat for that. I just wonder if they're just trying to sell this. They're trying to make this like, no, there's a reason we have these. But I don't know.
To sell games.
Right. To make money.
Right.
What have you been playing lately, Dustin? Because we're both not playing Silksong, so what the heck are we playing?
Well, right after this, I am going to go play Silksong, just so I can say I played like an hour of it or something,
Perfect.
Whatever I can sneak in today. And then beyond that, though, I've been playing Destiny Rising, which is basically a version of Destiny created by NetEase, and it's on mobile. But there is a desktop application called the Mumu Player, which is you just install it and then you're playing like you're playing on a phone and you're good to go. So I've been playing Destiny Rising a little bit. And I have, as I've been saying earlier, playing Path of Exile 2. I really, really like that game and I'm having a good time in the new season. What about you?
That. Well, I finally checked out Claire Obscure.
Ooh, great game.
Great
Game of the Year contender.
Game of the Year contender. It's on Game Pass right now. Like, it's definitely something that people should check out. And I'm in awe. I didn't give it a chance at first. I don't know why. I was like, it's not really my type of game, turn-based and stuff like that. I thought, it's free on Game Pass. Let me just check it out finally. And it is amazingly beautiful. So there's so many Game of the Year contenders, by the way, Dustin.
Great year.
We were going through the list, and it's going to be a tough. I don't know who's going to come out on top. I have no clear idea because they're all really good games. Maybe I think Donkey Kong Bonanza might be on the list, but I don't think that one's going to win.
Well, I mean, it's Nintendo. That game was really, really cool too.
That's true.
That's another one I own that I still haven't had time to play. That's how many games are out this year.
So many great
Kingdom Come
games.
Deliverance 2. I haven't finished Death Stranding yet.
So Death Stranding 2, yeah. Blueprints, that's another hit. Split Fiction.
Yeah.
There's so many great ones. So it's going to be a tough Game of the Year. Like, who's going to win? It could be anyone's game at this point. All right, Dustin, thank you so much for being on the show. I always love having you on the show. Be sure to check out Dustin's YouTube channel. It's literally just Destin L. Look it up on YouTube.
At Destin L. Yeah.
At Destin L. Oh, do you have to have the at symbol when you search it? I guess probably.
I think so. You can also look up the Destin channel.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you helped me name it.
I know.
I was like, I need something generic, and then I just never did anything else.
You're like, it's perfect. I love it. I'm glad I was able to help and be part of that history. All right, Dustin, have fun playing Silksong, and I'll talk to you next time you're on the show. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Naomi.
Destin Legarie is a content creator and host on the Destin channel. You can follow him on YouTube at Destin L.
Flawless victory! Continue!
And that's This Week in Gaming. I'm your host, Naomi Kyle. I had such a blast bringing you all the news in gaming. Thank you so much for listening, and shout out to my co-writer, Josh Seaman. Don't forget to let me know what you're playing and what you think of these stories by tagging me at Naomi Kyle on social media. From all of us here at This Week in Gaming, we wish you a fun-filled week. We'll see you same time, same place. Talk to you later.
This Week in Gaming is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more podcasts just like these.